Today we're going to be working on multi-step conversions, and we're going to be focusing on using the table strategy to help us. In our first problem, we're going from 1 hour and figuring out how many seconds that's equivalent to. So before we go to seconds, we need to figure out how many minutes are in an hour. In 1 hour, I know that there are 60 minutes. So I need to multiply 1 times 60 to get 60. There are 60 minutes in every hour. Now I need to convert 60 minutes to seconds. So I'm thinking how many seconds are in 1 minute? I know that's 60, so I'm going to be multiplying by 60 again. So now what I need to do is 60 minutes times 60 seconds per minute. So I'm going to write this out to help me visualize and see what I'm writing. 60 times 60, but I know 6 times 6 is 36. But this is in the tens place, and this is in the tens place. So tens times tens is hundreds. So this is 36 hundreds. So I know that in 1 hour, there's 3,600 seconds, or 3,600 seconds. That's my answer to part A. I can use this to help me solve for part B. 2 hours is equivalent to how many seconds? Well, I already know that there's 60 minutes in every hour, so 2 times 60, well, I know 2 times 6 is 12, so 2 times 60 is 120. Now what I'm going to do is 120 times 60. I'm going to write that out over here because that's a little bit hard to do in my head. So let's see. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. I'm going to multiply everything by the 6 in the tens place, so I'm going to put a 0 in the ones place. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. I'm going to add these up. 0, 0, 2, 7. So my answer is 7,200. So in 2 hours, there's 7,200 seconds. I'm going to write that on my line. Let's move on. We're going to do C and D. So now we're going from days to minutes. Well, I know in 1 day there are 24 hours. So I'm going to write 24 right here. 1 times 24 is 24. Now I know that in 1 hour there's 60 minutes. So I'm going to be multiplying by 60. 24 times 60. I'm going to do that over here because it's a little hard to do in my head. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. We're going to multiply everything by 6 in the tens place. So I'm going to put a 0 in the ones place. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. When I add this up, 0, 4, 4, 1. So I know that in 1 day, there are 1,440 minutes. That's my answer to part A. Now we're going to figure out for D, I'm sorry, not part A, part C. Now we're going to figure out for part D, how many minutes are in 3 days. So what I can do is go back here, using my chart. I skip number 2. You can put it in if you need to, but we're going straight to number 3, or for 3 days. 3 days times 24 hours in 1 day. I'm going to do my work over here. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So in 1 day, or I'm sorry, in 3 days, there are 72 hours. Let's see if it'll clear up. Just thinking. There we go. So in 3 days, there are 72 hours. But we want to figure out how many minutes there are in those 3 days. So I'm now going to multiply 72 hours times 60 minutes per hour. I'm going to do that over here. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 7 is 0. I'm multiplying by everything by 6 in the tens place. So I'm putting a 0 in the ones place. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 7 is 42. Plus 1 is 43. When I add this up, I get 4,320 minutes. So there's 4,320 minutes in 3 days. I'm going to write that on my line. Let's move on to part E. So now we're going from yards to inches. And notice we didn't give our labeled table already. So we got to label it ourselves. Well, I know that I'm starting with yards and I'm going to inches. And I'm thinking, what can help me get from yards to inches? Well, I know in between yards and inches, there's feet. So I'm going to write in the center, feet. I know that in every yard, there's 3 feet. So I'm going to multiply by 3. 1 yard times 3 feet per yard is 3 feet. I know in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. So I'm going to multiply by 12. 3 feet times 12 inches per foot is going to be 36 inches. I'm going to star this because this is a really important conversion to know. If you can know that 1 yard equals 36 inches, that's going to help you a lot on problems where you don't have to do all these steps. So for E, 1 yard equals 36 inches. Now let's figure out for 4 yards. So we're working on part F. Well, I know that 4 yards times 3 feet per yard is 12 feet. Now I'm going to multiply 12 feet times 12 inches per foot. So 12 times 12. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Now I'm multiplying by 1 in the tens place. So I'm putting a 0 in the ones place. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. I'm going to add this up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus nothing is 1. So our answer is 144 inches. In 12 feet, there are 144 inches. In 4 yards, there's 144 inches. All right, last one, G. So kilometers to millimeters. So I'm going to put kilometers at my starting at the table, and I'm putting millimeters at my end of my table. And now I'm thinking, what's in between kilometers and meters? I'm sorry, it's blurry, it's working. Let's see, it seemed to help last time. There we go. So I'm thinking in between kilometers and millimeters, I know is meters. Well, I know that in 1 meter, there are 1,000, I'm sorry, in 1 kilometer, there are 1,000 meters. So I'm going to put 1,000 on my line. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Now I'm going to multiply to figure out how many millimeters are in 1 meter. Well, I know that there are 1,000 millimeters in every meter. So I'm going to be multiplying 1,000 times 1,000. I'm going to write that out. So let's see. I know that 1 times 1 is 1. There's 3 zeros here, 3 zeros here, so that's 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 million. Sorry if the line's too small. So in 1 kilometer, there's 1 million millimeters. It's a lot. Now we're going to do this for 5 kilometers. Let's see. 5 kilometers times 1,000 meters per kilometer is 5,000 meters. Let's see. Almost done. It's getting tired. There we go. Now I'm going to multiply to figure out how many millimeters are in 5,000 meters. Well, I know that there's 1,000 millimeters in every meter. So I'm going to do 5,000 times 1,000. Let's see. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 zeros plus the 3 zeros here are 6 zeros. So I'm going to put 6 zeros at the end. And look at that. 5 million. Something interesting to also note is that there's 1 million millimeters here. 5 kilometers is 5 times more than 1 kilometer, and 5 million is 5 times more than 1 million. So the answer up here is going to be 5 million millimeters.